Hi, welcome back to Gwyn's Book Reviews, where you will find reviews on romance, action and adventure, mysteries, thrillers, and suspense. If you have a book that you'd like for me to review, please do submit your request via my website. You can find the link in the description down below. And hey, while you're down there, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, let's head on to Atlanta, Georgia, the setting for She Fell in Love with the Finer Things, the debut novel of author Miss Mystique. Stella had everything she wanted and needed within her, Derek. A hit was sent out and it led to Derek being gunned down in front of their apartment. Now a widower before even being married, Stella seeks revenge for her fiancé's death. With only intentions of avenging Derek, Stella finds comfort in Atlanta's most notorious drug dealer, Azio. Not only is the chocolate handsome drug dealer involved with her younger sister, but he might be involved with her fiancé's death. The saddest part about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemies. How far is too far when it comes to fighting for the one you love? Find out in this sexy tale of secrets, revenge, and the ultimate betrayal. As you can tell from that blurb, this is a romance, but I need to warn you, avid romance readers, it is not your typical romance, and it does in fact defy some of the elements of a romance. But before we jump into that, I would like to give a short disclaimer. I needed to be known that neither myself nor my company, Go Dust Editing, took any part in the editing or publishing of this book. That is not a slight toward the author or the publisher, but there are a lot of editing issues with the book, so I just wanted to point out that I was solicited to be a reviewer, not the editor. So with me having an editing company, I just felt like I just didn't want any misunderstanding about that. You probably noticed in the blurb, the heroine is referred to as a widower. A widower is a male. Females are called widows, and that stuck out to me when I first received the book, but I was hoping that was just an issue in the blurb that somehow got overlooked, but unfortunately there are editing issues throughout the entire novel. But let's talk about the story right now. Stella is a black woman who is engaged to Derek, a white man, and that, I pointed that out because his family has disowned him because he got with Stella, and that was the reason, to my understanding, from the way the book reads. That's the only problem they had, is that the difference in their race. Well, Stella, Derek is killed at the beginning of the book, and Stella, she wants to avenge his death, which is understandable. We would do these things for those that we love. The issue is the people that she's coming in contact with, they're very dangerous. They are drug dealers. And to top it out, Stella falls in love with one of them, but not just any drug dealer. She falls in love with her sister's boyfriend. The thing about that is, this is not a case of mistaken identity or the sisters are estranged and they don't realize they're dating the same man. It's nothing like that. Stella actually willingly and knowingly gets involved with her sister's man. So that is a very intense level of betrayal, and another reason that this kind of defies the elements of a romance. So it was very hard for me to root for this couple to reach some kind of happily ever after, which is also required in a romance. But it was hard for me to root for them because of the way their relationship started and the level of betrayal, related to the relationship. So also, I have to say, I never connected to any of the characters, not only because of their actions, but the characters aren't really well developed. They're one-dimensional characters. For instance, Stella and Derek, we know nothing about the relationship, so when he's killed, it's hard to feel Stella's emotion over him being killed. Of course, it's sad that he's killed. That's sad, for anybody, but I could not emotionally, connect to them because we know nothing. Not only do we not know their last names, which could, still work if we had a deeper level of them, but we have no idea how they met, where they met, how long they dated before they got engaged. There's nothing. Even when he's killed at the beginning, which actually works in a book like this because the gist of the story is for her to, avenge his death. But there are no flashbacks. There are no moments where she has memories of him, which would allow readers to, be a part of their relationship. There's none of that here. Everything is just reaction. This happens and then the character reacts. This happened and the character reacts. But we don't know any cute quirks they have. We don't know much of their history. It's very, very hard to connect to the characters. At least it was for me. The plot has a lot of holes in it. The premise, I think, was on point. I'm always looking, for stories like this. I mean, it's not a requirement for me, but I love romantic suspense, and I love, seeing the bad guy get their comeuppance. But when your hero and heroine are the bad guys, that makes it difficult to root for them in their relationship. So all of these things are going on with the book. Like I said, the premise is good, but it's the way the plot develops. There are a lot of, assumptions made, and whatever the characters think happened, then it turns out to be true. For instance, I'll just give this an example. When Stella opens the door and Derek falls in on her and he's shot and he's bleeding, she drops her cell phone and then she reaches for it to call 911. Well, in the distance, she hears an ambulance and she goes, "Oh, there's no need for me to call 911. The ambulance is on the way." And my first thought was, how do you know they're coming for him? Like, there were multiple gunshots. You don't know that he was the only one who got a bullet and that someone else didn't call that ambulance for their family member or loved one. But lo and behold, when the ambulance get there, they go straight to Stella's apartment, and they live in an apartment building, not a freestanding home, which makes it even more difficult to comprehend how the paramedics knew to go straight to that apartment. So it's almost like the book is written from the author's vision. Like, she knows this is what happens instead of from the character's point of view, because there's no way Stella should have known that ambulance was coming straight to her apartment. So it's little things like that that are actually big things that kept just jarring me when I was reading this novel. But, hey, reviews are subjective, and what doesn't work for me may work for you. But like I said, I had trouble connecting to the characters. I found the plot, the way it was carried out, is unbelievable. A lot of things that happened, I just was like, but they shouldn't know that. Another thing is, with Stella, I need to prepare some of you when reading this. She's making this big fuss about him being killed. Naturally, that's her fiance, and she's saying he's the love of her life. But before she buries him, she sleeps with her sister's boyfriend. She's already sleeping with someone else. So that kind of jarred me, and I could no longer empathize with her. It's like, you didn't grieve long enough to bury the man, so it's difficult for me to comprehend this intense need to avenge his death, and that she had some passionate love for him. So it's things like that in the book that just kept, I couldn't wrap my head around it. But once again, that is my subjective opinion. And you guys, I encourage you to read the book and come back and let us know what you think about it. With that being said, it is time for the rating system. The rating, and here's my rating system for those of you who are not aware. I do not use stars, I use cups of coffee, and the less the better. So 0 cups of coffee is equivalent to 5 stars, 1 cup of coffee is equivalent to 4 stars, and so on and so forth. So the question is, how many cups of coffee did I drink to get through She Fell in Love with the Finer Things? Well, here it goes. That's right, it took 4 cups of coffee. That 5th cup I did not drink because, like I said, I liked the premise. I liked what the story was supposed to be. It was just difficult for me. It was a really big stretch of my imagination to follow the story along. So that ends today's review. I encourage you all to read the book, and if you so choose to do so, there are some links to purchase the book as well as connect with the author in the description down below. Feel free to do that and come back and share your thoughts with us. I would love to hear. And with that being said, that's it for today. Thank you guys for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, happy reading.